It's the 7th of August, 2017, and you're listening to the Paul Clark Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you are well. So this is my first podcast, my first since my return from New York, from the United States of America, to which more of later on in the podcast. But I'm actually going to combine the two topics of my excursion, my trip to America, to New York, with the current situation involving the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, and any chance I can get, any opportunity I can get to tarnish the name, the reputation, to condemn, to vilify Jeremy Corbyn, I will quite happily take, because I think what we have in this man is probably the worst human being since Adolf Hitler. Quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, I think you have a very nasty man who is brainwashing an entire generation of people with his grand utopian vision for Britain, when really it's basically communism. That's what he is promising. Today, he was asked, will he condemn the current situation in Venezuela, because Jeremy Corbyn, much like he condones the IRA, he has condoned, not condemned, condoned Venezuela, the communism of Venezuela, the socialism of Venezuela, and obviously it's all going to hell out there right now. It's all kicking off in Venezuela, and he has been asked repeatedly over the last couple of days by the media, will he condemn the killings, the deaths, the mass murder that is being done in the name of a government that not 5-6 years ago he completely condoned. Well, he will not condemn, much like he will not condemn the IRA. Jeremy Corbyn is the worst human being ever, as far as I'm concerned. And as I say, any opportunity I can to trash the man, to at least put a dent in his name, I will quite happily do. I hate this man probably more than is actually quite healthy. I think he's a disgusting scumbag of a human being, and I absolutely, utterly despise him, right down to the very bowels of the core of his body. He disgusts me as a human being. And I'm not saying that I, would do time for his murder, but if someone out there, wants to pick up a gun or a knife and, and take him out, well, I wouldn't stop you, because he's a dangerous man. And the way he aligns himself with Venezuela, with countries like Venezuela, with, looking at people like Fidel Castro as a hero, do you not find that scary? Do you not find, if you're a Corbynista out there, do you not find his association with Jerry Adams and the IRA or the Venezuelan government, do you not find that a little bit disturbing? Because it worries me, The vision of Britain under Jeremy Corbyn terrifies the bejesus out of me. To uproot capitalism and replace it with communism, because that's what it is. It's not socialism, it's communism. That's what he wants. And I constantly get condemned. Oh no, he's not a communist. No. He just wants to control the 1%, the fat cats up the top, the big corporations, but it all trickles down. You start at the top, and maybe he's right. There are people at the top, as Bernie Sanders in America says, the 1% that needs cowling, that needs usurping. But it's only 1%. 1% out of a population of how many that are not at the top? Are they really worth bothering about? That's my question to you. But the fact that Jeremy Corbyn and people like him look at capitalism as an evil, when it's just the way we live, and you see the current situation in Venezuela, Do you really think Venezuela is the right way to live? Because the Venezuelans don't currently think that. I was just watching Newsnight just a minute ago, and they were talking to some guy who lives out in Venezuela, and just saying, yeah, he wishes that the likes of Jeremy Corbyn and people like that would actually go to these countries and live in these countries and see what socialism and communism is actually really, really like. Because it's great to sit here, in the comfort of your own home and imagine a Britain, under Corbyn. Imagine a fairer society. But are you willing to take the risk? Are you willing to pay a bigger price? Because why capitalism isn't perfect, and I've certainly never actually really benefited from capitalism myself. It is the way we live. And when you get a piece of human excrement like Jeremy Corbyn running his mouth off about how evil this country is and how evil America is and how bad capitalism is, and yet you've got the current situation in Venezuela, which is just appalling, absolutely appalling what's going on there, and he won't condemn it. Does that not worry you? How does this man, this wretch of a human being, who should have been aborted at birth as far as I'm concerned, how does he not bother you, his vision for Britain? How does it not scare you? One of my friends, who I hope he wouldn't mind me saying, does come, from a pretty high-earning income family. And he's no fan of Corbyn either. And he has friends, though, who like Corbyn, who you might even call within the 1%. They're in the brackets of the 1%, or certainly their parents may be, their dad may be. Their dad or their mum might have businesses or work at Canary Wharf. And yet they like Corbyn. The sons and the daughters of parents who are in the 1% like Corbyn. They think he's great. So do they not understand? He's going to hurt them. He is going to take away their inheritance. It's communism. That's what Corbyn is promising, a communist society. And capitalism, why not perfect? It is the way we live. And it's the way we've always lived. And being in America, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, coming back from America, I have a new perspective on the United States, but it's still mostly positive. In fact, all of it's positive. And yeah, you could certainly see the negative side of capitalism in a city like New York, but you could see it in a city like London or Paris or Berlin or Sydney or Auckland or Japan or Tokyo. Excuse me. You can see it all over the place. There are highs and lows to capitalism. But is the answer to uproot it and throw it in the bin and replace it with effectively what is communism? To replace it with what you've got in Venezuela? I don't think that's the answer. And you walk around New York and it's stunning. The skyrise, the buildings. It's a stunning, beautiful city which is built on capitalism. Some of it good, some of it not so good, but it's just the way we are. Do you get that in Venezuela? No, you don't. Do you get that? Did you get that under Fidel Castro? No, you didn't. We live the way we live, and we have the great lives that we have because we are a result of capitalism. Some people also have terrible lives as a result of capitalism, and I agree that needs to be dealt with. But not in the way, twats like Jeremy Corbyn want it to be dealt with. No way. To uproot capitalism and replace it with communism, because that's what Corbyn wants. He cannot condemn at all the current situation in Venezuela. He refuses to. He turned around today and says, I condemn all acts of terrorism or violence. Yeah, shithead, listen. That's not what the question was asked. Will you condemn currently what is going on in Venezuela, which is being done by a government you supported in the past? Or is it like everything with this human piece of garbage, that you're not supposed to question him, and you're not supposed to bring up things that he might have said 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago? Because after all, this is the man who's so in favour of Europe, isn't he? He's so in favour of Europe, Jeremy Corbyn. He's never expressed any views, any anti-European views, and he very much wanted to remain in the EU. This is the man who just turned around just a few months ago and said that he's not a pacifist. Oh, even though in the 2015 leadership he said he is a pacifist and not ashamed to be one. This is the man who absolutely showed no support whatsoever to the IRA, even though it's on record him and Jerry Adams shaking hands, laughing and joking together. I wonder if Jerry Adams actually told shithead Corbyn where the bodies are buried. I wonder if Jerry Adams told Corbyn where the body of that 15-year-old girl was buried, huh? Oh, of course, because I forgot, to the Corbynistas out there, Jerry Adams is a freedom fighter, isn't he? He's such a freedom fighter. No, Jerry Adams, just like Fidel Castro, is a terrorist piece of shit. And if you align yourself with him, Jeremy Corbyn, that also makes you a piece of shit. And just for the record, just in case you didn't know this, guys, I hate Jeremy Corbyn, and I will always hate Jeremy Corbyn, and I long to dance on his grave, and I long to see him dead, because he is a dangerous man, and I am not fooled for 1 second, by this lovely image that he portrays. This image of a utopian Britain where we're all equal. I'm not fooled by it. I'm not fooled by when you have Grenfell Tower and you have these people, these poor people that have lost their home and lost their property, and Jeremy Corbyn couldn't get down there fast enough, and embraces the people, hugs the people like he's the second, the second coming of Christ. I'm not fooled by that. He's got his own Malcolm Tucker, basically saying, hey, Corbyn, you see that poor person over there who also, if you're lucky, might actually be ethnic. That will tick a couple of boxes as well, won't it, Jeremy? Go over and give them a hug, because you'll come out of it well. It's all a front, guys. It's all bullshit. It's all PR. It's the same shit that Theresa May and Tony Blair and other politicians have played by the same rules for years. If you think he is any better than any other politician, past, present and future, then you need your heads examined. Because this man is probably the single worst thing that has ever happened to British politics, and his silence or lack of condemnation for what is going on in Venezuela right now speaks volumes about the kind of man he is and the kind of Britain he wants. What is going on in Venezuela is disgusting, and if you, Jeremy Corbyn, you piece of human shite, have any caring in you for your fellow man, for humanity, you will condemn what is going on out there right now, and you will say, no, that's not the way to conduct yourself. That's not the way for a society to behave. You won't condemn it because you condone it, and you want that kind of shit here in Britain over my dead body. Thanks for listening to the Paul Clark Podcast.